Hello. I don't know if I'm live or not, and could anyone let me know if they can see, if anybody's in, if they can see Purple Holiday in the middle, because I was having trouble coming in. It was saying that I had to upgrade, so on StreamYard, yeah. So I don't know why it was saying that, because I've never had that before. But yeah, I'm gonna hopefully hope for the best. So I'm gonna start with my live tonight. I'm a bit, so let's see, that's it. Tonight I've changed my live tonight because I was going to do it tomorrow night from Saturday night. Hi RJ, but yeah, I'm going away tomorrow to my brother's, so I'm gonna do it tonight. But yeah, tonight my live tonight is about Holli Gazzard, hence the purple top that I don't. Purple's such a beautiful, vibrant colour, but I don't do purple, so I'm wearing purple tonight in respect and honour of Holli Gazzard. I've got purple nails, purple socks. Yeah, so I'm wearing purple tonight in honour for Holli. So yeah, I'm going to get into my story. Let's put you on the screen there. So, okay, I'm going to start my story about Holli. Holli Rebecca Gazzard was born on the 24th of July, 1993, and was the daughter to Nick and Mandy Gazzard. I'm going to show you another photo. And Holli was the younger sister to Chloe. Let's get into my story. Where are you? I should have these. Yeah, there's Holli's sister Chloe. Holli was born only weighing as little as 5 pounds. She was so petite, and Holli's dad Nick would say that when she was born they had to buy like doll's clothes for her until she was like big enough to fit into baby clothes. Growing up, Holli was always petite and would be like a little tomboy, her mum said, in her infant and junior years at school. She would enjoy like playing tag rugby, horse riding, cross country, athletics and football. Holli's favourite football team was Manchester United. I'm just going to do another photo. And would always go to Old Trafford to watch them play with her dad Nick when she was young and growing up. But growing up into like teenager years, excuse me, Holli would always love doing hair. She would always practice like doing different hairstyles like on her older sister Chloe, and would always have like a different hairstyle and colour like in her own hair growing up and into her adulthood. I'm just going to show you some more pictures of Chloe with her beautiful hair. Sorry. Okay. So growing up, Holli got the nickname Ginge because of her beautiful, colourful hair. And yeah, and growing up, she would just love like doing all different hairstyles, and she was just so into like hair. I'm going to show you some more beautiful photos of Holly because I've wrote them down. I'm going to quickly show you. There's another hairstyle that Holly would have. She would just have like she had beautiful hair, and like she would put all her time and you know, her hairstyles were so beautiful, and she was beautiful, you know. Yeah. So okay, so as soon as Holly started going to high school, she would like prefer doing makeup. So like instead of like playing tag rugby and like doing her sports, she just like went straight into makeup and hair. And as soon as Holly left school, she trained to be a hairdresser. And this was like the center path. Like she saw herself doing. She just knew this is the job she wanted to do for the rest of her life. I'm just going to come back on. I'm just going to say hello to everyone. Hello, Jake. How are you, sweetie? Hi, Donna, beautiful. How are you? Big love, beautiful. Yeah, so I'm going to show you another photo and then chat a bit more about Holly. Where are you? I really don't like doing it like this. Okay, so in 2013, Holly was working at a bar doing part-time shifts. And this is where she met a guy called Asher Maslin. Asher was a 6-foot athletic built man. I'm going to show you a picture of him. And at first to Holly, Asher seemed very charming and boyfriend material. So much Holly invited him round to meet her family, mum, dad and sister. Holly's mum, though, had her doubts from the very beginning of meeting Asher. She knew Asher from school as she worked there as a dinner lady and a few years back, and knew him to be very mouthy and arrogant. Sorry. Holly's mum just didn't have a good impression on Asher being Holly's boyfriend, but because they both, as Holly's parents, respected Holly's decision, they accepted Asher into their family, and he had seemed to have shown maturity. Okay. Yeah. So 3 months has now gone by, and Asher and Holly were still together, and Holly invited Asher to a family event that was going on, and this was such a big step for Holly and showed just how serious she was about Asher to her family. She had true feelings for him, and she wanted to introduce him to them that soon. It just showed that, you know, she was serious about him. The family meal turned out to be a disaster, though. Asher turned up very late on the family meal. He was drunk. He was very rude to the staff and Holli's family. Chloe, Holli's sister, her partner asked Asher to leave so he didn't ruin any more of the family's meal. This is where Holli's family now became concerned with their daughter's relationship with Asher. Bless you. Definitely, Donna, 100%. Mum's intuition, we always know, don't we? We go with our gut, don't we? They say that. So true. A few weeks after the family meal, Holli was offered a job doing hairdressing on a cruise ship. And she was to travel to like Florida on the cruise for 9 months. I'm going to just show you another photo. Sorry about my aeroplane going off again on my laptop. Yeah, so she was offered the job to go on the cruise to Florida. But before she left, she had to move to Watford to in London for training before the trip. So Holli done her training and she set off on the cruise. But 2 weeks into the cruise, Holli rang her dad and said she was very homesick and could he sort of arrange the flights for her to come back home. When Holli arrived back, Asher was waiting for Holli. And then they both started to live together in Watford. Holli's mum and dad was hoping when Holli was on the cruise, their relationship would fizzle out. But that wasn't the case. They felt Asher manipulated Holli into coming back from her dream job. Holli's parents wasn't happy with Asher that he was living with Holli in Watford, but supported Holli's decision again. Holli stayed in Watford and got a job hairdressing there and would meet up with her parents on her days off. For a meal. But when they were out having like their meals with Holli, they knew that Asher was controlling her. They knew that he was having a hold over her in some way. Her phone would just constantly be going off and he would just be messaging her all the time when she was like just meeting her mum and dad for like some lunch, you know, and he was not saying some nice messages. He was being very cruel in the messages, and he just didn't like the fact that Holli was not with him. And, you know, even though she was with her parents, he just did not like that fact. He just wanted to control her and have her with him all the time. There's another picture of Holli with her dad. Sorry, I wasn't planning this live tonight, so I'm a bit... Yeah, so on the 26th of August, so a good few months have gone past now. This is in 2014, 26th of August 2014, 6 months into Holli and Asher's relationship. Notting Hill Carnival. was on, and it is like a huge street festival, and it's celebrating the Caribbean community, and they both decided to go. I'm just going to show you some more photos of the carnival. You can just imagine how big it was there. You know, they actually, I'll carry on with my I'm waffling. Yeah, so they both decided to go, and Asher's family joined them at the carnival. Everything was going fine at first. Then a little while into the carnival, I'm not too loud, am I? Asher's nephew asked Holly if she would take him to the toilets. Holly said yes. And as you can imagine, being at a carnival, you can just see all the people there, and it is just, it was massive, you know. The queue to the toilets was a bit of a wait, and obviously to find one. The festival was a massive turnout and was estimated over 1 million people attended it in the 2-day celebration. It would have been like finding a needle in a haystack if you got separated from one another. But Asher was ringing Holly but couldn't get through, as Holly wasn't answering the phone. As probably the music was so loud, she may not have heard it ringing. He started to get angry and angrier. And when Holly wasn't answering to him, he just sort of blew his lid. You know, he was in a rage now. And when Holly returned back to Asher, he hit her straight in the face, knocking her to the ground. At such force, you know, she seriously hurt herself. Asher carried on shouting at Holly. His control now has turned into physical abuse. Holly knew that that wasn't right, and feeling quite vulnerable, she rang her dad to pick her up. And this is where Holly decided to move back home. I'm just going to show you one more picture. So as you can imagine, it's quite a massive like carnival, you know, that from the amount of people that turned up to, you're lucky to probably even find a toilet, you know, sort of thing. But yeah, so Holly now decided to move back home with her mum and dad. And in September, Holly was getting back to herself and back to her life in Colchester. I hope I've said that right. Colchester, I think, is that right? I should have looked. I apologise if I haven't said it right. But there's beautiful Holly there. She was getting back to herself and back to her like happy life. And she got a hairdressing job on the high street. She got a hairdressing job on the high street, doing what she enjoyed so much. She would always put all her time and effort into her clients' hair. The manageress of the salon said Holly was such a talented and very popular hairdresser. Clients would ask for Holly all the time. But Asher still wouldn't leave Holly alone. He would constantly message her. And on one message, he threatened suicide if Holli wouldn't get back with him. Now, I don't know whether, like, I've explained this in one of my awareness videos at the very beginning. Like, that's a form of gaslighting, and that is a narcissist. Like, exactly, that is one of the facts of what narcissists do. They gaslight, and what he was doing, he was saying to Holli, you know, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to commit suicide. And that is one of their forms. And 99.9% don't do it. It is a form of gaslighting to their partners. Yeah, so Holli agreed to meet Asha in a restaurant on Valentine's Day for a talk and a meal. And being in a public place, Holli felt safe. I'm just going to change the photo. There's Holli and Asha there. Yeah, so she would feel safe to discuss how she was truly feeling towards Asha. And since Holli had been living back home with her family, Holli was finally taking back control and like finding her inner strength again. And she said to Asha she no longer wanted to be with him or receive any more contact from him. She wanted him to leave her alone for good this time. This caused Asha to start to shout at Holli. Knowing he had lost control over her, he stood up and chucked a glass of water all over Holli. He then went on to steal Holli's bank card and emptied her account of all her funds. But Holli's strength kept growing. When she returned home, she reported it to the police with her family's support behind her. Sorry, I nearly said something else then. Hi, Princess Angela. Love you too. Love you, Donna. My sister. Love her. Yeah, sorry. Right. Yeah, so she found like her inner strength to report it with her family's support behind her to the police. And as petrified as Holli was, she showed courage in this and taking control back. And this is where her family found out the true abuse Holli had been going through when she sat down with the police and finally opened up. They were heartbroken, but supported Holli to get back on with getting back to herself and her life. On the 18th of February, before Chloe's shift at the salon, Holli went to get her nails manicured. Holli's dad rang her and they both chatted for a bit. He asked if she was okay and she said, yes, I'm fine. And they both said they loved one another. And she said, I'll see you after I finished my shift at work, because her dad was picking her up from work to go to Holli's sister's house for dinner that evening. But on the high street, a CCTV surveillance picked up a male, and that was Asher Maslin. I'm going to change the photo. Asher went into cash converters and handed in a DVD and exchanged it for £5. He then went on to Wilkinson's to buy a kitchen knife. He bought a kitchen knife in Wilkinson's. The fact that he was so calm just showed how premeditated he was on that day. Sorry guys, because I've got emotional on this one. Then at 5:45 p.m, Asher walked straight into the hair salon where Holli was working. He walked straight up to Holli and punched her in the face. He then stabbed Holli 14 times in her neck, chest and torso. And she also had massive defense wounds on her hands and arms. Holli's colleagues and clients tried to help her, but Asher was threatening them with the knife. If they came near Holli, he would stab them, and had Holli cornered in the reception area. Sorry guys, I had to take it off that photo, and I left it on all of that writing. I'm so sorry for that. You can't even imagine the terror and horror running through everyone that day, trying to help Holli. You know, knife crime, any knife crime, is just so brutally cruel. It's cold-blooded, and it is a personal attack on someone. It truly is terrifying. The police and paramedics were already on their way to Holli, to the salon, as Holli previously asked if Asher was to ever come in, please call the police. Straight away. Asher, soon after the brutal attack on Holli, fled the scene. Paramedics arrived and rushed Holli to I can't say this, is it Colchester Royal Hospital? But sadly, Holli passed away due to severe blood loss at 6:30 p.m. that evening. Holli's dad quickly nipped home to pick something up before he was going to get Holli, and he was met by 2 police officers waiting outside for him. I'm just going to change the photo again. Oh no, I don't want to put that one on. No, I've messed it up now. Not that one. Where are you? Yeah, that's right. Sorry about that. I got a bit emotional, and I think if no one does, I don't think they've got a heart, to be honest. But yeah, so 2 policemen were waiting outside and Holly's dad quickly, as Holly's dad quickly nipped home to pick something up before he was going to get Holly from work. The police officers asked if they could go in and speak to Nick. And they did. They went inside and they broke the heartbreaking, devastating news to him that his daughter Holly had been brutally murdered by her ex-boyfriend. Nick, Holly's dad, then had to break the heartbreaking news to the rest of the family. The police then said to them they all had to go into police protection as Asher fled, and they didn't know where he was at that time. And until he was caught, the family had to be protected due to the threats that the family received prior to the attack. This became a huge manhunt to catch Asher Maslin. And 8 hours later, he was caught. CCTV showed him getting into a taxi. In changed clothing, and he was then dropped off at a friend's house where he was later arrested. Asher showed no remorse at all. He refused to answer any questions and came across smug. I'm just going to change the photo again. Sorry, everybody. Asher is a cold-blooded narcissist. He showed no remorse or responsibility in what he did to Holly. Holly was laid to rest on the 17th of March 2014, and her funeral was so colourful, and the amount of people in the community that turned up to show their love and respect for Holly was just like enormous. It was huge. Sorry, I'm going to come and speak to people. Hello, Batman. How are you? I'm nearly finished. This has touched me, this one, again, but it's real life. It happens, and it's happened. But yeah. Yeah, and on the 14th of July 2014, Asher Maslin's trial began in Colchester. But after the year of 1972, all murders and crimes for maximum sentencing were to be held in Bristol court, not the Victorian Colchester court. But Judge Jamie Tabar insisted that Holly's murder case be held in Colchester Court due to the impact of Holli's death in the community. I'm just going to show another photo. That's Asha going to court. Yeah. So this was the first murder trial to be held there since 40 years ago plus. And so in Asha's trial, his defence team had said that Asha suffered with mental health issues, even though there was no evidence from a professional proving that. They also said his defence team also said that he brought the knife to defend himself. But the prosecution argued back with real evidence showing he was the threatening one all throughout the relationship, proving this with all the abusive messages he had sent to Holli. One saying, one said to Holli, "If you don't ring me now, I am going to hit your dad with this bat. I am coming to your house now to smash it up. Ring me now. I really don't want to get violent with you." So the prosecution for Holli really proved that Asha was the violent one. So after him pleading he brought the knife to defend himself, the jury saw straight through his deceitful, dishonest plea and found him guilty. Asha Maslin was sentenced to life in prison to a minimum of 24 years. I'm going to just change the picture again. He even tried to appeal his sentence, but thankfully it was denied by the High Court judges, stating that his first sentencing wasn't inadequate enough. And so rightly so. I think he should never be released. That's my personal opinion. From researching Holli this week, I can honestly say I know where Holli got her amazing strength from, and that was her family. The strength they had and have is immense. They founded a trust in honour of their daughter. I'm just going to change the photo. It's called Holli's Trust, and it raises awareness of stalking. This is one of the most frequently forms of abuse and can destroy the lives of others. It also raises awareness in domestic violence. Holli's Trust also funds hairdressing in young people who may not have funds to go to college or to be able to train. And they also have produced an app for a phone. I'm going to show you. I've left everything in the description below. Yeah, so they've also produced an app for phones which is free to anyone. It is called the Holli Gazzard app, which is a personal safety device on your app. It records and alerts emergency contacts of your whereabouts quickly and easily if you're walking alone or traveling or in your own town. You know, it's also designed on a second shake as well that will let a high pitch alarm go off, so it will attract help to you. It is such a brilliant app that Holli's Trust has done. Honestly, I'm nearly done. I'm just going to leave it with as well of Holli's favourite quote. This is very tiny. I'm so sorry. But this was one of Holli's favourite quotes, and she would like often say it out aloud. So I'm going to say it. Have hope, be strong, laugh loud, and play hard. Live in the moment, smile often, dream big, remember you are loved and never to give up. And just one more for Holli, as her favourite colour was purple. And there's another quote there for Holli. And I'm going to do the last one. And I'm going to come on and speak with you all. I don't know if that's too small. Oh, it is, it's small, but I wanted to like leave it with Holli in the middle. But yeah, my thoughts and heart go out to Holli's family so much, and rest in peace, Holli. And please, would you mind just taking a look in the description below? Yeah, in the description below, because sadly, Holli's dad has got a YouTube channel for Holli Gazzard's trust. I've subscribed to that. Would you just be kind enough to just hit the subscribe button? It's free, you know, just to show support with her family. Yeah, I think it's not been as active lately because unfortunately Holli's dad suffered a stroke a little while back. So I think he's just healing and like getting on the mend. But yeah, it's in the description below. Would you mind just subscribing? But yeah, thank you. Such a beautiful quote, 100% Batman. I know, I just think, you know, it's real, it's emotional, isn't it, as well, when you're saying it. And yeah, she was so beautiful, and the strength that her family have is just, you know, you totally get where Holli got her strength from. And yeah, and her trust is amazing, what they do for others that are going through domestic violence awareness, stalking, all sorts of like domestic violence, you know, emotional, mental. It's just in different categories, isn't it? But yeah, thank you, RJ, for putting Holli Gazzard's trust in there. Thank you so much. That just means the world to me that you've done that this evening. Thank you. Big love and respect. Yeah. Right. I'm gonna say peace out. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not with it tonight because I weren't meant to be doing me live tonight, but it's done now. But big love. I don't really want to. You can't really see that photo, can you? Should I? I'm going to leave it on there, but I want to come on and do my. Right. Right, I'm going to go big love, big respect, peace out. Thank you for coming in this evening and thank you for your support. Peace out.